Hi there, it's Nelson and I'm back your way again with a new video. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about how I improved my scores in physics in the UTME. Now as a 340 plus scorer and as someone who used to fail, not really fail, who wasn't performing quite well as I should in physics, I can say that it's actually possible to improve your scores in physics, not just physics but any subjects that you find difficult using the right strategies. Now, you see me looking down. I'm actually looking at my notebook because I had to take everything down, on my book. All right. Now, here are the points. First of all, you need to have a change in mindset. Like, you need to believe that it's actually possible to improve, to do better as a particular subject. That's if you're willing to see change, if you're willing to do the work, because it's not just about having the mindset, though the mindset is key. The mindset will help you to keep pushing, to consistently work towards achieving that goal. But it's not just enough. Now you need to do something. So first of all, have a mindset, believe that you can excel in physics, and believe me, that's like over 50% of your problem is solved, because with the mindset, with the attitude, right attitude, you are going to do the work, and believe me, it's going to work out. All right. Number two, use a better material. Now this is very important, and this should be my major point here, because people underestimate the power of really good materials. In 2023, when I got 79 in physics, I used new school physics. Now it wasn't that I wasn't studying, not that I was, should I say, a nonchalant student. I was studying vigorously. I was really into my studies, but the book I was using, I don't think it was like, it's New School Physics is a good book, no doubt. So many people recommend it, but then it all depends on you. How you like enjoy what you read it. Like for me, New School Physics was good and all, but I didn't find the mathematical aspects of physics, really helpful, because the book does not really give you exercises to work on. And I must say that it doesn't give you much exercises to work on, especially when it has to do with the mathematical aspect of physics. Most of the concepts tested on physics in the UTME are just basically calculations. There's no way you, like, more than 15 questions on physics will be on calculation. You cannot suck at calculations and say you want to ace physics. No way. So you need to use better material. Now, the next year, 2024, when I got my 94, that rhymed. When I got my 94, I actually used a defense textbook. I will display it somewhere around here on the screen, called Hidden Facts in SSCE, UTME, Physics, and all of that. So this book, I would recommend it to you. It's really, really good. Like, the book is good at explaining concepts, though it may be black and white. Still, it's good at explaining concepts. It's good at giving you visual presentations of things. You see figures. New School Physics actually does that. It has pictures, and which is really good. I actually combined it a little with Hidden Fact. But what makes Hidden Fact stand out is that it gives you much practice exercises. The main thing is practice. I'm getting to that. Much practice exercises to work with. You cannot be studying and you're not practicing for the UTM. It gives you UTME style questions. Even though you're preparing for SSCE, WASED, NECO, the book is there. It's good for you. You're preparing for NATEP. You're preparing for, and even if you're not doing well in school as a student, you're preparing for your school exam, this book will help you. So I just want to say that Hidden Fact is like the ideal book you should be using for physics. I'm not saying you shouldn't use other texts. You could combine. I combined. I still used New School. I still used other texts. I still looked at other textbooks, but I would say that just use a book that suits you, that's good for you, that makes that explains things explicitly, and gives you good number of exercises to work with, because that is key for preparing for the UTME. My third point is that you should study differently. In my previous video, I talked about study techniques. I want to stress on that again. Study differently. Now, if you are studying physics, you're not studying physics to cram. Please, if you want to be an engineer, if you believe that if you're in the science, area, you want to do anything that has to do with physics, engineering, math, medicine, please, you do not have to cram in physics. You cannot cram in physics. I know there are some things you can cram. You can cram laws, you can cram few definitions, but you still need to understand the background information. What's being talked about a particular concept. You cannot just cram your way to acing the UTME or SSCE like that, or even becoming the best physics student in your school. You need to understand what a topic is saying. You need to learn to think differently. So how can you study differently? Take notes. Like I've said, so I cannot stress this enough. Take notes as you study. Write things down. As you write things, I don't just write verbatim just what's in the textbook. Of course, you write everything. You're not writing the entire textbook. You're taking important points and you understanding what you're writing down. Not just about writing things down. It's about understanding what you're writing down. So please study differently by taking notes and understanding what you're actually reading. You can cram a few things. Cramming is part of a studying technique. It's not like it's an abomination to cram, but make sure that it's less of cramming and more of understanding. Okay, I'm happy you got that. Next, love logical thinking and math. Now, I notice that people who love math kind of love physics. Though I'm not saying this is completely true. I've seen someone who did like math but didn't like physics because physics had lots of, physics is like it's not completely straightforward sometimes. Well, but most of the times, if you love math, then you're going to love the math aspects of physics because physics is just basically change of subject formula, substitution and sorts of things like that. So if you love math, you're going to love physics. You learn to think logically. This emphasizing the previous point I made. Love math, love calculations, love things that are not just completely straightforward. Learn to think like a science student, which you are. Learn to think, logic outside the box. Ask questions as you read. Don't just take everything hook, line, and sinker. The people who made the biggest discovery today asked logical questions. They asked questions beyond what the information they had during their time. So learn to ask question, why is this formula like this, or what would happen if this happened. Learn to think logically. You're going to become a better physics student because whatever exam you see, you learn to think outside the box. You're not just applying what you crammed, what you read. You're still trying to solve a problem, which is why you're a science student too in general. Okay, next, practice continuously. Anything that has to do with math, be it physics, chemistry, whatever, you need to learn to practice continuously. Physics is practice. If you want to get better at something, you keep practicing. Not that you read today and then after 3 days you go back to your book, then you don't practice, and then you feel that when you fail an exam or when you can't remember what you read, you say physics is complicated. Physics is not complicated, just as you are not putting in the effort. So please practice continuously. That's why I said you should use hidden fact. Hidden fact gives you lots of practice exercise, even though you're not chanced to get past questions. Hidden facts can even help you out because as you learn a particular concept, you have questions, you have exercises to work on immediately. Not that at the end of the entire chapter they give you a summative assessment. No, you have kind of like just how do I call this, just little exercises to work with per subtopic. Then at the end of the chapter you still have exercises, examples where problems are solved, and then the ones you have to solve yourself. So please practice continuously. And my last point is that you should ask for help and maintain focus. Ask for help whenever something is unclear. Please ask for help. Don't be too proud. Most of the time the people who are too proud end up not doing as expected, not extending the exam as they wish to. Ask your classmates, ask your teachers, use online platforms, go to YouTube, learn different stuff. Just make sure that you're understanding what you're reading. If you get it, do not go past that topic unless you've understood clearly what it's talking about. Okay, and then maintain focus, be resilient, be consistent. Only those who are consistent will be able to achieve meaningful results. So please be consistent. Make sure, even if it's not working at first, it's like that for everybody. Believe me, I felt same. Some point when I learned physics, I just felt like I wasn't cut out, for such a subject as, by not understanding that particular concept, I wouldn't become an engineer. Sometimes thoughts like that run through our minds. Do not feel that way. Please maintain focus. If something is unclear, that's why it's good to ask questions. If you can understand it at that point, maybe you should probably skip it for time's sake. Then later you go back. You find out that when you go back to that particular concept, there's a difference, in the way you understand it now compared to before. So it really works. Our brains, get more mature every day. So there's a tendency that something that we didn't understand yesterday, we have a better chance of understanding it today. So those are all my tips for improving in physics. Now please like this video. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments. This is a new channel, so try to support the channel by giving it a subscribe, and then I hope to post more videos in the future. That's if you engage with the ones I've posted already. Now thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.